All right, Masashi sent me this in the Discord. He wanted me to talk about it. It's about gatekeeping and the wider, um, I guess that just the aspect of gatekeeping in the VTuber community, but I'm not too sure. But let's just check it out.
To objectify him. I mean,
Let's
again,
hear it.
I am an armchair, so. Anyways, so when it comes to explaining to you guys the way that fandom works, in particular, the way that I want you to conceive of it as something that is self regulating, self cleaning, self managing.
Okay.
I was thinking about like all the different metaphors I can use, and I've come to one that some people might think is a little bit crude, but I think there is a good case to be made for the similarities between the two things I'm about to compare. So, when you really think about it, fandoms are a lot like pussies in the sense that they are self cleaning, they are self regulating, that they are part of a larger entity. They cannot exist independently of the thing that they are attached to. And on top of the, in line with the sort of self cleaning aspect, when it comes to the way that fandoms deal with foreign irritants, or again things that enter that end up making the space worse, the way that that is dealt with is that it just keeps pushing out new content that just washes them away in its wake. Irritants are regularly
Okay.
washed out by the release of new content. On
Yeah.
top of that, and this is something I want to get into in a bit more detail, the idea that a vagina, the internal environment of a vagina, is hostile but not malicious. So what I mean by that is, like,
Okay. I'm listening.
if you think about it from the perspective of like
Yeah,
from
let's
the
hear the
perspective
perspective,
of like
bro. Let's hear it.
a
Let's hear it.
microorganism or whatever, right?
Okay.
Vaginas are like slightly acidic, and on top
Okay.
of that, again, like I said, they regularly push out stuff to wash out the things that enter from the outside.
Yep.
So again, that is hostile in the sense that it can be exclusionary. It can be like a measure that prohibits.
By the way, I want to preface this again. This video was requested. Okay. This is not something I normally. Okay. It's a decent analogy, but this was requested, so everybody knows.
entrance into that particular space. But at the same time, it's not malicious. It is a natural purpose of that. It's just a natural function of that particular environment.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
the problem with just humanity in general is
Okay.
that hostility is often interpreted as a challenge. Think about it, right?
True. That's
As
true.
people,
Yep.
we've created settlements on mountaintops, on the edges of deserts. It's part of the reason why we've become so successful as a species. But when we're dealing with contexts that are not, that aren't actually like, that don't present like an adversary to us, that tendency to interpret hostility as a challenge, as an insult, that gets in the way of things. And the thing is,
Okay.
right,
I'm listening.
fandoms are naturally hostile in the sense that they can be exclusionary. You
Of
don't
course,
walk
a
into a
hundred
space and you
percent.
instantly understand the appeal or the draw of the thing that fan base is built around. That can be a little rough to deal with as a tourist. But at the same time, that disconnect between you and the thing that the fan base is gathered around is not a result of malice, is not a result of like,
Well,
any
it's
conscious
usually
effort to insult you or exclude you.
yeah, it usually comes from a sense of love. You love something so much, and you're perfectly fine with, say, sharing your hobby. But you don't want to share the hobby with everybody because not everybody is going to appreciate it at a level that you may deem worthy or acceptable because we're talking about fandoms, right? Fans are fanatics, people that enjoy something so much that it's almost, and usually for some people, it's their identity. They not just resonate with something they love, it is a it is a representation of themselves. So yeah, if you have something you love and you feel it represents who you are as a human being, of course, not everybody is going to be invited to that, right? You have to prove you enjoy it, right? The people that love anime versus people that loved anime back in the 90s. If you loved anime back in the 90s, you had to get anime. You had to try and go out of your way to find the anime or the manga, right? There was no Crunchyroll back in the 90s. If you wanted to, you know, devote yourself to something that was, your hobby, and you turn it into something that you really enjoy and you become a fan, a fanatic of it, you know, you might gatekeep and say, oh, well, if you like anime or you like manga, prove it. Name your favorite anime. Name your favorite manga. And then it's up to me to judge whether you're really an anime fan or not, right? This is how the fanatics work. This is how the mentality is, right? If you really say you're part of what I believe in or what I agree with, well, then show me. And it's normal, right? This is something if you're ever serious about anything in life, it's quite normal, to build a community around it. And then, like, if you want to be added to the community, well, show us that you enjoy it. You say you love dance, right? You're a professional dancer, you're on a dance team. Well, show us how you dance, show us your skills. Same thing when it comes to fighting. You say you're a fighter. Okay, let's do some sparring. Let's see. Do you actually love fighting or do you think you can fight? Right? These are two different things. And if you really do enjoy fighting, even if you lose the spar or even if you get hurt, showing the courage to get back up and say, hey, even though I lost, I'm still willing to learn. That could be another way people will actually let you into the community or to the fandom. So yeah, there's definitely many ways, and there's different, versions of gatekeeping, right? There's some people that'll gatekeep stuff till they die. They will not share it with anybody, right? So I definitely understand where he's coming from. It's just crazy to use a vagina, but yeah, it's definitely true. Yeah, it's true. I guess, if you put it in that context, it's the same thing.
That's just a natural mechanism
Some people don't let everybody into their vaginas. Yeah, you could look at it that way too.
of the
And some people let everybody in their vagina. Hey, who am I to judge?
environment that you're operating in. On top of that, you also get into the fact that, like, you, pussies, like any
Why
other
you say it
like
like that?
internal body part, regardless of your gender or sex, they have a microbiome. And that
Mm, the
microbiome is made
defense.
up of things like bacteria,
Mm.
fungus, sorry, I should say fungi.
Yeah, don't
And
say
again,
fungus. That's crazy.
all of these, the way that to make, this microbiome keeps itself in check, right? The
Regulated.
way that you maintain a healthy internal environment
The
is,
pH balance. Bless you. Salud.
I'm allergic to spitting facts, apparently. So yeah, the way that
I'm not.
microbiome keeps the environment clean and healthy is that it maintains the balance between all the different microorganisms that exist in that space. And
Yes.
when you take one of those organisms outside of that space, let's say you take like an individual, like, bacterium or something, put it onto a slide, put it under the lens of a microscope, that might look a little freaky, right? Because you've removed it from its context. But again, when it is in
Yeah.
its natural
That's
environment,
the fandom as well.
it
Yeah.
works just fine. It is, in fact,
Yeah. I can
integral
see it. I can see
to
this
the
perspective.
functioning of that space.
Mhm.
So again, the more I think about it, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good way of thinking about it, right?
I mean, it's a
Pandora,
way to
armchair,
think
please
about it.
make this
There's other
merch.
ways, but yeah, there's.
Maybe at some point I'll release some of my key slides as
I mean, it's definitely, it's an interesting way to frame fanaticism and fandom, but it does work, right? It's an interesting conversation. I think this is the end of it, by the way, but let's continue for like a little bit. I mean, I already gave um, my agreement on this perspective. I think it makes sense, especially the more in detail you think about how these two things operate. Yeah, a vagina and fandom can correlate.
as some form of merchandise. But yeah.
Merchandise is
So
crazy, though.
the thing is, though,
Like,
we can
really.
take this metaphor
Okay, we're gonna keep
even
going.
further when we
Yeah, you
consider
can.
the role that tourists play in this space.
Okay.
When you think about it,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
Tourists are a little bit like sperm.
This is secretly a health seminar. We talked about pH balance. Now we're talking about fertilization through sperm and egg. Next, we're going to talk about condoms, how to keep tourists from coming into the fandom. Am I
Where
right or wrong? Let me know.
in order
Right?
for them to survive in this space that is, again, like I said, not malicious but naturally hostile to them, they need to be coated by
coating,
some sort of
yeah.
protection.
Yeah.
And in this case, that protection comes in the form of curiosity, the natural curiosity that a tourist goes into a space with, and some degree of encouragement to keep looking for something that will actually resonate with them personally. So
Yep,
again,
100%,
like
100%
like
right.
with sperm, tourists don't always enter a space with a clear direction in mind. They just swim haphazardly, and if they run out of this film that is supposed to protect them, right, the semen, if they run out of that, then they just
They
sort
die.
of bounce off and die. So, well, okay, they don't die. Their interest dies off, but same difference. So again, every
I'm
tourist
picking up what you're putting
fundamentally
down.
is swimming towards the same goal,
Mm.
finding this egg, the thing that will resonate with them personally, the
Yeah, the thing that resonates all of us that enjoy the same thing. That's exactly what everybody is looking for when it comes to finding a community in general, right? Fandoms are communities. What is it that we need when it comes to becoming a good human? Well, Maslow hierarchy of needs, we already got shelter, we have food, we have the grocery store, right? And the more you go up in the hierarchy, right, we need more connections, personal attachments, things that go from physical attachments to intangible attachments, like enjoying time with your mother. When's the last time you actually spent time with your mother, if she's still around, right? Exactly. If she's still around. If they are still around, are you going to spend more time with them? Because eventually that time will run out. And you might say, oh, I wish I did this more, or I got to see them more, I got to talk to them more, right? These things are intangible. These are not things you can just show to people or you can just have. It's things that are inside your being, inside your mind, inside your consciousness, your memories, right? These things that are important to us. Why do you think it hurts a lot more if someone breaks into your house and steals all of your personal family photos versus stealing your TV? You can replace a TV, but you can't replace the memories you made with the people around you. Why do people get tattoos? We get these things because there's a history, there's a memory, there's meaning behind it. And we decide, hey, these memories and these meanings are so strong. Let me go ahead and brand it on my body so I never forget. You could always take photos of your memories and stuff like that. Phone might break, iCloud might go down, but your body is you. This is your temple, and you're going and you're branding it. Yeah, it's definitely a deep conversation, and it's definitely true. Whenever we're looking for these fandoms or whatever, we're looking for community. We're looking for people that are like us, or people that accept us for who we are or for what we enjoy. And if we have a common enjoyment, that makes us closer. Not everybody can just resonate by having a good vibration. Some people think there needs to be something further, something that actually makes me like this person, whether we both enjoy this sport or we both enjoy this food, right? We still have this common whatever, it's common word that I can't think of right now. But we're all looking for that common thing.
the thing that when they come into contact with will birth a new, something new and beautiful and whatever, right? So again, just
You'll
create a
evolve.
connection that didn't exist beforehand. But they are always restricted by the amount of this thing that coats them from the natural hostility of the environment that they're entering, of the fandom that they're entering.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
again, tourists are always on a time limit. When they run out of curiosity, they bounce off and die. But should they manage to reach this in the time allotted by the protection they've been afforded coming into this space, they will be able to, not only survive, but create something new. Oh, Noel, thank you for the membership. Welcome to the footstools. Tinkerlin, thank you for the 2. The ride never ends. Again, okay, look. Tinkling,
We're getting sidetracked right now.
So
Getting
again,
sidetracked, but it's a
look.
good time.
These aren't metaphors that a lot of people might use to describe this, but I think it holds up if you really think about it.
All
Um,
metaphors can hold up if you can make it make sense. You could talk about chickens, you could talk about dinosaurs, you could talk about airplanes. These three things don't really have anything in common. But if you're wise enough and smart enough and you're able to congrue complete and coherent sentence, well, then you can make it make sense. Legitimately is just how it works.
Rem Forest, thank you for the 5. So, from this analogy, fandom can throw off its pH balance from toxic penetration by gatekeepers or protection. Exactly. So, again, this is on the surface, if you were to if you were to just go up to someone and say, "Look, fandoms operate like pussies," they will probably rightly look at you as if you're a crazy person. But if you actually take the time to explain all of this, it makes sense.
Yeah, anything can make sense if you give it time, but just outright the gate, talk about that. Yeah, you're probably not going to have much time.
It makes sense. So,
But thankfully, this is
you
the
got
internet
me with three
where
pictures.
life doesn't have to
I
be so
try, I try.
serious.
So, now that we've established, just a basic premise of how fandoms work, how they protect themselves, how they maintain a balance, how you can conceive of their self cleaning function, right? I want to
Hmm.
move on to describing the sort of the things that actually go into creating a community.
Okay.
So,
I mean, we could talk about it,
if
sure.
we didn't already know that Armchair like Face Connect, this would be a dead giveaway.
Membership,
Oh, that's really
integration,
that's actually a really sweet
influence,
compliment. So, anyways,
and shared emotional connection. Yeah, membership, having people that show up, fulfillment. What being in this community, what need is it feeling, right? If you're into cosplay, that need might be dressing up, becoming a character that you really enjoy. Influence, well, I mean, that's obvious. The more people that enjoy something, the more influential it'll be. And shared emotional connection. Well, if I like Yoroichi because I think she's hot, and you like Yoroichi because you think she's hot, well then, boom, we already have a baseline connection just like that. And I think it also stems from language, right? I'm an American. I speak English, right? Don't really have that big a connection with people that speak English because English is so prominent. Kudai Tai ni noi. Now, I'm speaking a language not many people speak. Only Thai people speak it. I, as a Farang, learned Thai. I have a bigger connection with the Thai community because I'm going out of my way to speak a language that is notoriously difficult because I want to connect with them. That gives me the baseline connection language. Same thing if you want to learn any language, right? Spanish, French, whatever. If you go out and you learn a language that's not native to you, you now have a baseline connection with whoever else speaks that language, especially if it is native to them, or even better, if it's not native to you or them, and you guys both went and learned the language. Now you guys have some deeper connection, and that's something you guys can talk about. I think this video is dope. I honestly feel like I don't need to watch any more of it, but I definitely think you guys should, especially if you do not understand what community is, connection is. Also, you could just look on my channel if you want to figure out more about how human connection works because I go out on the weekends and I meet amazing people. You can check my community tab, you can see their quotes and all the knowledge that I gained from talking to just other human beings. I regurgitate all the wisdom that they gave me and I give it out to you guys because it'll help you live a better life. And if you're living a better life and I'm living a better life and we live in a better life together, hey, that sounds like just a good time. And it sounds good to me. So yeah, definitely you should check out more of this video. Of course, a link in the description. Armchair, Armchair 1R Expert. I think it's an interesting video. Cool stream. It looks like you have a dope community. So shout out to everybody in the armchair community. Nice to meet you. It's your boy KhunShawn. I do VTuber content and I'm also a motivational speaker. So if you're ever feeling a little down, just go watch my videos. It should perk you right back up. All right, till then, I'll see you guys next time. Adios.